gospel, light of the temple. Sword swing, killer live from the ghetto. The hood messenger, let them know hell's close. Black burial, the devil in a black cloak.
Yo, what is up? Welcome to the Street Gospel Podcast. I'm your host, Dave One, and this is bonus episode number 3. Now, I know I told everybody I didn't like to do the Zoom. You know, we do a lot of in-person stuff, but the guests I've been bringing in on the Zoom have been, I can't pass it up. And this is the guy I couldn't pass up. The first guest was Coach John Mosley from ELAC, from the Netflix Last Chance U. Then bonus episode number 2 was with Khalil Roundtree, light heavyweight from the UFC. Can't pass it up. But today's guest, he's got to be one of my biggest guests. If not the biggest. He's known everywhere. So I got to play a little music before I introduce him. It's just part of the Street Gospel Podcast, what we do. So I found a little banger for him because I hope he likes it because he dabbles in the music thing a little bit. So this is my little intro music for him. Let's see how it goes here. This guy right here, I respect him immensely because he speaks his mind. He's a father of 4. He's a husband. He's a SoCal native. We're talking Compton, The Wood, South Central. You can't say nothing to this dude. He's a 10-year NFL vet, a Pro Bowler at that. He's the co-host of the Fox Sports 1 show, Speak for Yourself. But I think the greatest accomplishment that he's got so far in his back pocket is he's a typewriting champion. When I see that, I go, why do I always have to get the Renaissance guys? Oh, he's an author. So I want to welcome to the Street Gospel Podcast, Marcellus Wiley.
Oh, man, that's love, baby. Appreciate you.
Come on, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Still alive. You ain't got to wait to go 6 feet to hear some good stuff, man. Thanks for the flowers, brother. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, man. Just doing my thing, fatherhood and work and the podcast,
Man, I want to be like you. I'm in the process of starting a podcast because I can see how real and how authentic this comes across. I love my TV job. I love my day-to-day, but man, you really get to the heart of people when you get this format in this form. So appreciate your work, brother.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's something that I had to do, man. It was I'm a small percentage of someone like you. I like to speak my mind. People were telling me that I should start my own podcast. So last year I decided, hey, man, I'm going to start my own podcast. I want to be a respecter of your time. And so I just wanted to jump right into it. So I have one thing.
Let's go.
I have one thing that I want to ask you. There is a gamble, right? When you're in media, when you're in sports, when you're in the public eye, to speak your mind. And you do it all the time. And I was wondering, how do you get away with that? And it's a gamble, right?
Oh, man, it's a long answer and there's a short answer. I think it just starts off with identity. Like, who do you think you are? Once you have identity in anything in life, not just being a broadcaster, but just being a human being, it brings security. And once you have that security, you start to look at life differently. Like, no matter what the response is, no matter what the mob says, no matter what people push back in terms of backlash, you're able to stand your ground. So I was a guy who had to walk through the mean streets of LA, Compton, South Central, Inglewood in the heyday, like snowfall times, you know what I mean? Like out there with Franklin and them, and not being Franklin, but had to stand my own ground because I wasn't a part of the gangs. I didn't join the groups. I didn't join the clique, but I still had to stand my own ground and stand for what I believe my identity was, which was I knew I was a smart kid. I knew I was good in sports, and I knew I was a good guy. And it was just that simple. So my tool belt was basically, I only had like three weapons, ammunition, and I just shot those 3 at everybody that was shooting back at me, man. I didn't trip. You fast forward to now, I hear narratives. I know what people want to say. I know what the chorus is telling me to say, but I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. I'm going to tell you what I'm feeling. I'm going to tell you the ground I walk on. So why do I do it? Is because that's how I'm built. And how do I get away with it is just because I think I also have a confidence in the way I express myself. And there's a sophistication to everything. So if you're going to get your wife with an elaborate gift, a beautiful gift, you ain't got to wrap it too well. It could be anything, but as long as it's a great gift, you're going to love it. But if it's not the most pleasant of gifts, not the best thing that she wants to receive, the wrapping matters. So thanks to my education and the level of sophistication I was able to learn from the streets and from the class, I know how to wrap some things. Even though it's going to hurt when you open it up, you're going to be a little excited to even try and feel what it is.
Right. I always say it's in the delivery.
Yeah.
Right. It's in the delivery. I equate it to a good comedian. If I tell a Chris Rock joke, it's probably not going to be funny.
Right.
Right. But if he tells the joke, the delivery. So same thing with what you're saying, your message. It's in the delivery, how you articulate it, how it comes across, and then your background. When you start talking about streets, when you start talking about how we came up, really nobody could say nothing to you, right?
Yeah, the resume protects me, man. It's kind of like that senior with the Letterman jacket that got all them patches on it. You can hate him all you want, but damn it, he ain't got no more room on that jacket. It's like, I know I have a good resume. I hate when people are so humble that they start lying. Like I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm bad at. And it's just that simple. If you ask me to draw something right now and try to do some of that beautiful art in the background, I'm going to tear that up. It's going to be a mess. But if you ask me to get on here and start talking about life, oh yeah, bro, we're going to go somewhere real fast. So I do respect my resume and how it gives me those stripes, especially because I didn't go down a beaten path. My story may sound cliche to some degree, but I take some turns and some twists that is not conventional for my environment, for my upbringing. So I think that allows me to stick out and be an anomaly. And then I just extend that even further with my own unique thought. And we all have it. Right. It's just we all have ownership of it.
Right. I like what you always says. My experiences are my experiences.
Yeah, my experience is my expertise. And that's it. Like, if we went out there and formed Voltron in terms of our thoughts, that means if y'all don't remember Voltron, it was like, the lions and they all formed this big one man, but they all were like connected from different parts. One was the arm, one was the leg.
Different colors too.
Yeah, that's how I think. Like, I know I'm not always right, but trust me, I'm not wrong. It's just another ingredient into the recipe of life that I'm just trying to contribute. It's unfortunate that so many people don't think that their contributions are warranted.
Yeah. I think that's a good point that you made a little while ago. Is you know what you're good at, and a lot of times, especially on with social media, everybody's good at something. Me and my wife laugh because we've been married 27 years. We got some experiences. We've been through some things, and then we see a couple and they want to give you marriage advice, and I look at them and I'm like, they only been married 2 years.
Right. Chill.
Yeah. Just like chill out. Just be good at what you're good at, and what you're not good at, ask a million questions to somebody that's good at it. Right. Yeah.
Patches on that Letterman jacket. Then let's talk. But right now, it's great to be all city and something, but there's somebody who's all state, and then all state got to look out for the guy who's all American, and then all American got to look out for somebody who's global with it. So there's always levels to this. I just don't understand why people lose esteem as they're climbing their levels. So I'm just a person that really wants to engage everyone's inner power. That's really my message. It's just like, dude, the God of this world, the God that's in you, they need to meet each other. Like, because your opportunities are out there, but they start in here. And so many people just cut off that connection, that exchange of energy and potential and opportunities just because they outthink it, or they don't perform up to their standard and up to their real capabilities. So I'm just a guy that's trying to make sure that you fully maximize your inner power.
That's awesome. I like what you said, and it's kind of funny because I said the same thing. I think you were on the Breakfast Club and a while back, and you had said that you looked around your family you seen some of your uncles and how they were coming up. And you said that you kind of looked inside and said you were going to put your family on your back and kind of get to that next level. And it's funny because I said it on here a lot of times, and I say it to people in person. At some point in time, somebody in the family has to break the cycle, right? Has to say, and I say the same thing you said. That's why I was like, whoa, because I said, my dad said that's enough. Family on his back. They were from the streets, South LA, gang banging, whole family. And he said, that's it. Gave his life to God, started going to church, got himself a job, changed the course of our family, right? Changed the course of our family. And you said the same thing. And I love that about what you said. And what did that mean for you and your family?
Yeah, man, I love it. It started with my father and my mother staying committed through the highs and through the lows, just commitment, that nuclear family. I didn't know how much of a blessing it was growing up because I just expected everyone's household to look like mine or even better. Like I thought I was on the low end of the totem pole. I got my mom, my dad. We're on food stamps. We're on welfare. My mom's not working until the age of 12. My dad works at the post office here and there. But hey, I'm fine. But I know there's better out there. And then you go around the neighborhood and you hear your homeboys talking and your friends talking and Big Mama raising him. Mama in another relationship with the boyfriend and he ain't cool and he abusive. And that's who's raising them. The other one got grandmama who's never home raising them. And I was like, damn, where's mama and daddy? Like right. The way it was designed. And I started to realize how blessed I was. But that commitment gave me that security, allowed me to get out of survival mode and into thrive mode. It allowed me to have that identity, and at least to go out there and experiment to see what my identity was because I had security. So at a young age, man, I put the cape on. I was Superman. I knew it because my parents, as committed as they were, they still didn't go to the next level of going out there and exercises their full capabilities. So the worst thing about growing up for me wasn't the gangs. It wasn't the poverty. It wasn't the drugs that was rampant. It was the low ambition. It was people that were aiming too low. And I was like, hold on. I would listen to the story from an elder, an adult, and I would just look at their life. And I was like, yeah, you got a job, but you don't have a career. Yeah, you're living your life, but you're living on the edge. Just one moment, one instant away from it could go bad. So my calculation was, like I said, my tool belt only had 3 weapons. I was smart. I knew I could play some sports, and I was a good guy. So I just went out there and started shooting back, man, instead of letting me and my family take all the shots.
Man, that's a good story. And I like what you said is that you seeing that your parents only took it so far, you wanted to take it to another level. Is that the problem in our culture, Black culture, Hispanic culture, even the neighborhood culture? There's some poor people that are white in bad neighborhoods too. But do you think the bar sometimes is just set so low that we don't set the bar high. We said, oh, if he gets a job, he's okay, or if he stays employed for more than 6 months, he's okay, right? And that goes with everything, with fatherhood. If he picks up his kids once a week, once a month on a weekend, or if the bar is set too low. I tell men this all the time. I was like, if you want to be a better husband, there's no excuse why you can't be. And they look at me and goes, well, I didn't have that in my life. No excuse. There's a lot of great men at church. You see good guys at your job. You admire them. Go up to them. Ask them a question. Hey, how did you do this? There's no reason why you can't become a good husband. I mean, especially in this day and age, there's so many things that could help you. There's so many people we know that have good relationships. Ask them a million questions. Learn. So do you think the bar is set so low sometimes? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, man, you bring up some amazing points. Not even great points, amazing points. I can go, this could be the whole podcast, one question. Let's just try to make this bite size. one, conceptualize your life as you being one leg of a relay. And I think what happens in our culture, especially, is because there's this perception that we're so far behind, or reality that we actually are behind, depending on the family, depending on the individual, that you think you got to run the whole race by yourself. And you're just talking about that. Ask questions. There's somebody faster than you on your team, but you get caught up in, nah, I think I got to figure it out, or nah, I don't really want this person to know that I need help, or I'm weaker than them, whatever it may be. But I ran track, and I know that no matter what relay I was on, there was the fastest and there was the slowest of the four members on that relay. And we would rig it based on who was fast and who's slow. So not to go too deep into track, but it does have a parallel to life.
Great analogy.
What was the fastest? I ran the longest leg of that relay. So it's 100. Everybody's supposed to run 100 sprint relay. I ran 110. I took more of the exchange zone. Give it to me, the baton, earlier so I could run longer. I got you. So this is how it parallels to life, especially in our culture. Run your leg, run your race. But understand, someone gave you that baton, my parents, and their commitment, and I got to hand it off to my kids with my commitment and my level of affluence. Now, I'm not the richest person in the world. I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm not the fastest in track. But damn it, I'm going to run the hell out of this leg, and I'm going to try and give us a lead that's going to make it that much tougher for us to get caught. So that's what we have to conceptualize. But your point about just going out there and exchanging information, team building, is what we really need to lend ourselves to. But right now, we're still in like this almost embryonic mindset of like, I'm just going to come out the womb, and then next thing you know, I'm about to start running. You got to crawl. You got to walk. You got to jog. You got to run. And I hope that we can understand that it's all a process, but let's all do this process together.
Right. I love the analogy of the race, because I always tell my kids, whatever you don't like about me in my parenting, let you guys improve upon that. You guys improve upon that. My father didn't have a father in the home. His dad was not in the home. He raised his 5 brothers. I thought my dad did an excellent job. I mean, he made some mistakes, but he worked, he provided, he stood with my mother. He came to all my games, every one of my games, home and away. I played in Bell. He went to Lock. I'm like, Dad, you're over here in Lock. He's like, I'm going. He's Manual Arts Fremont. I'm like, Dad, in the heyday, Chris Ford and all them dudes.
Forwards, brother. Let me just tell you, as you already know. Damn.
So he would go to the games. So I was always at my kids' games, support them, whatever they want to do. You want to be in music, you want to be a photographer, you want to make video, I support them. So, but I tell them, what I didn't do for you, you improve upon. So I'm passing the baton to you. You're going to be a better parent than me. And I love that analogy. So I got something. You went to Columbia, and I love what you said. Brains over brawn. We got a little something in common here. I'm getting ready to graduate from Columbia. It's actually it's actually Columbia Southern in Alabama online.
I guess it counts now. Respect, man.
Hey,
it all adds up.
I was laughing about that. Like, I'm gonna throw this joke on Marcellus. Yeah, I went to Columbia too. It's Columbia Southern in Alabama online.
Online, right? Hey, here's real one day when I was telling people I was getting recruited by Columbia. So I got all these big football factories, everybody after me. And then I told my friends Columbia. They're like, Columbia? I was like, yeah, in Columbia University, Ivy League. They were like, man, you going to school in South America? And I was like, oh, y'all, I got to leave the hood, man. Y'all dumb as hell. These suckers don't even know where it is.
Oh, man. But you said brains over brawn. And I thought, to be that young and recognize, like, I want to be recognized for up here than for, up here. I thought that was huge, because it paid off in the long run, big time.
It did, man, and I'm blessed to have the right elders supporting me and pushing against me. I'm not gonna lie, my mom didn't want me to go to Columbia. I had people that were challenging my decision, but let's be real about it. We know where we're from. So much of that is perception, and so much of that is reality. And if you're from it, you know the difference. So when I left LA, I had to deal with more perception. But when I was in LA, I had to deal with Boys in the Hood. But every single thing that happened in Boys in the Hood happened in my life. So it's weird when you leave, all of a sudden, all you get is people asking you questions and peppering you. Man, was it you get shot at? Yeah. It wasn't every day, a few times, can't lie. But you know what? There were still more days where that wasn't. There were more days where, let me get this thing. All right. There were more days when that's the perception of where I'm from. But the reality is I walked by a library today. The reality is I walked by a YMCA today. The reality is my teacher did say stay after school and get some extra credit. But I can either lend myself to the reality or the perception. And the perception is there are no resources. The reality is there are limited resources. But if you pay attention, that's invention. Whatever you want to do in this world, I am a steadfast believer you can do it. I'm a believer. Now, what do you want to do is really the question. Because I saw so many of my homies, they wanted to be popular. They became popular. I had so many of my homies wanted to be the most gangster dude off Slauson. They became the most gangster dude off Slauson. Like everything they chose, they actually attained it. The problem is they wanted to play games that were dead end games. And I knew, look, you can only play football for so long, no matter how great you are. So I was like, what's going to happen when I'm 30? If I make it. But if I do make it and make it to 30, I still got 40, 50, 60 years of life. And I'm going to be walking around talking about I used to play football. So I made a calculation early. I wanted people to think I was smart, not a dumb jock. And I wanted to live more of my life in a greater existence than just an athletic experience.
That's huge, man. That's huge. I think that was very smart of you at being so young and then saying, hey, I'm going to Columbia. I want them to recognize me for my brains. I mean, and eventually they recognize you for your game.
Exactly. The best of both worlds. I give it to you like this, D. Like, think about it. If you had a bus stop like I was all the way through high school, I didn't even have a driver's license, so I was like a junior in college. So, you know, the RTD, I'm riding it rough, tough, and dirty my whole childhood. It's real. So imagine you at the bus stop and somebody pulls up at the red light and they're in a Rolls Royce. First thing you're thinking is they doing all right in life. Now, perception and reality. You don't know if that's their homie's car. You don't know if they rented the car for the day. Right. You don't know what they do in life, but your mind already goes to affluence. Your mind already goes to a better place in terms of means. Same thing with Columbia. Nobody really knows how smart I am. When you walk into a room, they just looking you up, sizing you up, and they read your resume. Now, when they see Columbia, that's the Rolls Royce at the red light. They like, damn. And that's what I wanted. All I wanted is for them to say, damn, I'll take care of the rest. So that's what it's about, man. And I try to tell these kids, stop going places where they're going to doubt you. When you're done, it was a great time. You had a party, you had fun. But now they're looking at you like, I don't know about this dude. You want to go the rest of your life climbing that mountain? Or you want to go somewhere where they're looking at you at the red light like, damn, I want to be that.
Right. Good word right there, man. Good word. You got a saying, or you've said it a ton of times. We're not divided. We're just different. Why is that so far-fetched or the wrong thing to say nowadays? I mean, why can't you just be different? I tell people all the time that, you know, we somebody could call this white dude giving me an attitude a racist, right? And I tell them, yeah, maybe that dude just doesn't like me. Maybe he just doesn't like me. We can't just not like people, or we can't just not get along, as far as sometimes you just don't vibe with some people, and that's okay. We're not always going to see eye to eye. We're not always going to vibe with people. That doesn't mean that we're divided. That doesn't mean that we hate each other. But why is it so? It's polarizing. You're either on one side or the other. It's black or white. It's this side or that side. I like your real objective, because you kind of bring both sides and you blend them together and say, let's take a look at this, but let's also take a look at this.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're in a world right now that it's polarizing to not be polarizing. Like, people come at me left and right because I'm not going to pick a side. I'm like, fool, I ain't picking a side because I've been on both sides. That's why I ain't picking a side.
Right.
I'm a fork in the road kid, Dave. I remember too many moments in my apartment that is smaller than my pool house right now. That's smaller than my dorm room was in college. And just sitting there like, how's life going to turn out? I know I'm contributing to my own success. I know I'm doing all I can, but how's this all going to play out? Fork in the road moment after moment. So now I'm 46. You're not going to make me forget my history, forget my painful emotional moments, and pick a side. And I explain it like this. When you look at all these situations, my grandmother raised me in the church. And I remember reading about the Tower of Babel and how people were trying to build up their power to God and the Bible, and then it got knocked down, and everyone was going to walk around with different languages, different customs, different looks, etc. And they were all going to walk around lost, looking at their differences and not respecting and recognizing their similarities. So think about it. If somebody come after me and chase me, I'm running. Somebody come after you and chase you, you're running. Somebody come after me trying to hurt me, I'm going to protect mine. Somebody come at you, you're going to protect yours. Like, you got a wife, I got a wife. I got kids, you got a kid. We're going to protect ours. Like, there's nothing in our primal DNA and instincts that we would do different. I done seen people act as tough as they want. Persona this, race that, class this, money this. And as soon as you hear pop, 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 we all do the same damn thing. Survival. We're trying to survive that moment, right? So I just learned from all my experiences, as my experience is my expertise, is that you're not going to make me have to choose and have to pick and then also ostracize the other side for what they value and what they're different about. So we're not divided. We're just different. We just look at the same thing. Tomato, but it's the same damn thing. Just this world right now is getting it all twisted.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell everybody, let's take it back 60 years. Do you think it's better now, race relation wise, society wise, than it was 60 years ago? Most people say, yeah, right? Okay, let's take it back another 60 years. Let's go to the 1800s. Where do you think we've evolved and we're better now as a society than we were back then? And most of the time people go, yeah. I mean, I'm 2 generations out from my grandfather and my great aunts being escorted out of Glendale because they used to go to school in Glendale, but they couldn't be in the city of Glendale after 6:00. They had to be escorted out. Now, they didn't take that as something to hold them down. They didn't take that. They ended up having their own business, doing well, doing great. I mean, and I tell people that story because I'm like, I didn't experience nothing like that. I can go wherever I want throughout the whole city. So in 1-2 generations, it changed so much. And I think we become spoiled thinking that it's still that way. And realistically, there is some things that have to change. There is some hurdles. There's always going to be that. Always. But it's a lot better now than it was ever.
Yeah, man. You talk about it. It's always going to be something. Let's be real. Perfect is the enemy of good. So we got it good right now. But are we going to have it perfect? Never. Let me tell you this. I'm 1 generation away. My father from picking cotton. My dad's from Tyler, Texas. And my dad used to pick cotton in the summers for like $1. And I was like, Daddy, what the hell? And so when we talk about racism today, it's not racism of yesterday, but there's still racism that exists. But now you got to squint for it. You got to look for it. You almost got to make it more than it is in many instances to even equate it to what we're talking about in racism 60 years ago or 120 years ago, as you mentioned. It's crazy because when people think that we're so divided instead of just different, I love your example. And I want to just express, growing up, I remember this. My grandparents took care of a white war veteran in Compton. We had a white elderly man living with us in Compton in the 70s and 80s, and then a white elderly woman. So just think about how I'm interpreting race relationships and race relations when my poor black butt was raising white people. Like, think about this. So when I get older, y'all not going to hit me with the okie doke. I'm like, nah, B. All white people ain't that, and all black people ain't this. Miss me. But when you talk about the differences, I remember a black person hating on something I did or something I was wearing or whatever it may be. And it wasn't racism. It was just hate. But then a white person talk about the same exact thing, the same shoes that had a hole in them, my Nikes in the 9th grade. A black dude talk about them, oh, he got the jokes, he funny, he jonesing. White dude talk about it. Why you talk about it? You don't like black people? Wait a minute. The shoes still got a hole in them. Why you get the damn pass to talk about them? Now, use that example in so many other instances today where we do the same thing to each other and it's either all love or, oh, we just hating. But when they do it, they get the extra title, the extra label of racist, when a lot of times it's either all love or they just hating just like we do. And it ain't that serious.
Or we could bag on a white dude the way he dances at some wedding, some party. It's fine. But if they say something back to us, then we got a problem.
Oh, man. Always used to notice that with comedy shows. Man, they come out, the first joke is to find a white person in the front row and clown them. You imagine if that was changed and flipped, and they just start coming out with the stereotypical black expressions and conversations and went there, oh, this world be different, bro.
Good stuff, man. I want to switch gears here, though. And the reason why is I know your wife's an athlete, right? I mean, she looks great, man. I mean, props to you, man. Your wife, I heard you say she's an athlete. Your daughter's an athlete. And I'm a MMA guy, and there's a particular dude in MMA competing as a female. They don't allow him to compete in these big shows, UFC and all this stuff, but they let him compete in these minor shows. But he's like cracking, he's like cracking heads right now. I mean, he's beating up women to a pulp, and you see this, and you see dudes running races and weightlifting, wrestling, and they're competing as women. I mean, what are women supposed to do, or what are fathers supposed to tell their daughters? What we want to create, be pro-woman and lift women up, but we're at the same time we're pushing them down by allowing this in sports. What are your thoughts on that?
Man. Oh, man, you know how we talked about earlier, I was like, I hate when people are so humble that they start lying. Well, I also hate when people are so PC that they don't tell the truth. I'm not that PC. It's not going to happen on my watch. It's not going to happen with my daughters. It's not going to happen in my life, in my experiences. And I wish it didn't happen at all. The way you were born is the way you're going to compete. Just simple as that. Now, I know that may cause a firestorm, but let's talk through this. If you talk about your biological birth gender, simple as that, born boy, born girl, that's how you compete. Now, for those who say, no, let's create another space, I say, okay, transgender space. And in the transgender space, you guys have the third level. Just like there's a Special Olympics, we respect it, and no one looks down on it. I dare you to say something bad about the Special Olympics. See how long you employed or see how long you walking around here without getting smoked. But I respect transgenders. Here's the thing. You're not competing with an advantage. Here's the thing. If a woman wants to become male, compete. But if a male wants to become woman, compete. But if you want to pick one of the biological genders, boy or girl, we're going to pick the one that is the most difficult. We're going to, all this, I want to switch to become a girl, and now I'm going to compete against girls? No, you're a woman. I respect it. But when it's time to competition, 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day, you are a woman. But for these 10 minutes, you're still a man. And you're going to compete against the men. Oh, no. Well, then, hey, you competing in a transgender division or you ain't competing at all. It's really a simple solution. It's just we so PC. We want to curve the world to everyone's feelings. There got to be some absolutes, some principles, and some values that have to be fully respected. And one of them is man is not going to beat up on my daughter in the sake of saying that they're transgender. Either you fight against transgenders or you go against the more difficult of the two.
Yeah, I totally agree. Create a league of your own. You created a bathroom of your own. We have 3 bathrooms now. You might as well.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really not that controversial, except we're trying to fit it into a situation where there is apprehension, where there is resistance. That's why this is a difficult conversation. But in terms of logic, it's a really simple fix. But we don't want that fix because we actually want to offer advantages to people that don't deserve it when they deserve the full open reign to compete as they want to. Who's taking away your opportunity of competition? And don't give me this is the first comeback. Well, who will they compete against? It's not that many. Do you know how many track meets I went to where we had a dual meet and the other team didn't even have nobody in the race? I'm like, okay, I'm doing it against time. And then when you get to the city level, the state level, national level, it's going to be somebody to compete against. So miss me with that one. This one's simple. We just making it complicated.
Right. It's very simple. Balls or no balls. That's it. That's it. You know.
What about the balls? Now,
okay. Well, if you used to have balls or balls, then you can't compete on this side. You got, whatever, man. Anyways. All right. So let me ask you this, Marcellus. You're a committed father, committed husband. Why is that so hard in our culture today? And even in the space of sports, celebrity, and just overall life. You know what I mean? The nuclear family being a positive thing, being a thing that's consistent in our society would solve so many problems, correct?
Facts. Yeah. All the statistics support it. Why is this so difficult? Let me lean into the benefits before I talk about why is it just so difficult to even wrap our hands around. And it's not just our culture anymore. It used to be we were more married, more nuclear than other ethnicities going back to the late 50s and sometimes the early 60s. But now it's just a national, if not worldwide, epidemic in terms of the dissolving of home and the dissolving of the nuclear family. All races, all ethnicities, but we certainly have a greater issue with this. I think that the benefits need to be highlighted more so. And we sneeze at statistics. We scoff at statistics like they don't add up. It does add up. When you talk about you're less likely when you're coming from a nuclear family to be incarcerated, you're less likely to drop out of high school, you're less likely to have drug addiction, et cetera. You're less likely to have all of the adversity of life overcome your life if you come from a nuclear family. It puts you in a greater position of success. It's just that simple. Now, why is it an issue? There's a lot of betrayal that is being played out before our eyes between wife, husband, man, woman, fiance, whatever you want to talk about between the genders. And I think the government coming in the 60s in the welfare state really messed this balance up. Basically, they walked up to women and told them, have kids, we'll take care of you. Have more kids, we'll take even better care of you than your man. And so the men started to realize throughout that time and losing their jobs and labor and also the trust of their woman. Think about it. If you don't have that much in this world, but you got your family or you got your woman, man, you feel like the richest man on this planet.
Truth.
And then the government, maybe not even by their own doing in terms of intention, because there's differing reports, but certainly by result, the government took their women away. And the women walked around unconsciously being taken away. Like, I'm chasing this check. And now you see the consequences of those decisions and that betrayal. And the men now, like you said earlier in this podcast, instead of sitting there and talking about why you're so broken, you got to stand back up. But men are not. Men are, let me say this. All human beings are wired to do this. Get the most out of life by doing the least. Simple fact. That's why you can come up to somebody, anybody with a scheme, and you got their attention. Because they like, yo, anytime I can get the most by doing the least, I'm with that. Now, success is not natural. Success is unnatural. You know what's natural? Failure. Put it like this. You don't believe me? Wake up tomorrow and don't do shit. Don't do jack. Watch what naturally gonna happen to your butt. Failure. You know what's hard, what's unnatural? To get up, to stay committed, to have a body clock, to listen to your alarm, to stay disciplined, to stay focused, to persevere. Those are all unnatural traits that if you're not properly conditioned in your habits, you will not have those as second nature. That's why success begets success. That's why the rich get richer, because they create a culture of better habits. So what happens is we got it all flipped up. We got it all backwards, and we shooting at each other instead of working with each other because of the pain of yesterday. So the simple answer is, hey, man, if you are going to engage in that relationship, and then that relationship is going to materialize into another human form, this ain't play, bro. This ain't the one from the club. This ain't the one that you were just trying to holler at and just trying to get in and get out. This is a commitment, and you got to do that. So we all learn it different ways, different strokes, different folks. And even if it's not the nuclear family, greater than that can be a commitment. But the nuclear family is the best way. That's the apex of this pyramid. But even that, fall short of that, you need to be committed. And it's sad to see so many people are not.
I love what you said, because it boils down to discipline. It's discipline. Mm-hmm. It's waking up early before anybody else wants to wake up early. I mean, you probably developed that with your studies. You probably developed that with sports. I talk to military guys. They have that mindset. It's a mindset that you just, I got to do it. I got to wake up. On the weekend, I wake up early. I'm up by 6. I'm doing my thing, getting stuff done, hitting the gym, doing the. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to be committed to anything. But it's the discipline, it's the benefits that you get being committed, being disciplined, following through. And it's so hard for many guys to do that.
Yeah, man. Preach, brother. I mean, if you want it, we know the cliches. I always say this one. Life is simple, but difficult. Life is
Wileyism.
Simple, but difficult, man. We know what the stop. Like, I hate when people come up to me and we make all these excuses. Well, they didn't know. No, they knew. They just didn't subscribe to what they knew to do. It's just that simple. So work hard, focus, persevere. I mean, everything you ever seen on any high school weight room, dedication, discipline, desire. Like, come on, man, stop. Life is simple, just difficult. It's just to apply yourself every day to that, the chicken and broccoli in life. Because you know what happens. You eat, I'm about to get in shape. I'm about to do this. I'm about to be the man. I'm about to get these muscles right. Chicken and broccoli, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday come around, you looking around like, might fry up a few tortillas, you know what I'm saying? Might hook up a little long plate. And then there it went. Like, you know what to do.
Right.
But you just don't want to subscribe to it, man. And, my tacos with ketchup, it's a problem around here, D.
I saw that, man. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna have to try. I had the taco guy on recently, and I might have to have him try that one. Marcellus, Was that?
It might change his business model. It might change his business model. It's the best thing going. Look, I grew up like that. Baby boy, Jody. You know how it goes. That's how we eat those tacos, baby. You know it.
Jody was a crybaby, though, man.
Oh, he was the worst. Oh, he was a bad example. He was a bad one.
I like the snowfall example. I can live with Freeway, Ricky Ross, and Franklin.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to be respectful of your time. We're getting to that limit. I know you got to go, but I have one thing that I do. It's called the Furious Five, man. And I ask 5 questions. You answer them quickly, furiously. We'll get out of here.
Yep.
First question. If they made a movie about Marcellus Wiley, who would play Marcellus Wiley?
Oh, man. I would hope Idris Elba if he gained like 50 pounds, but that's just me thinking I'm cuter than I am. So outside of that, God, I got to stick with him unless Franklin get a little bigger. From Snowfall, I take him too.
All right. Idris Elba, I mean, GQ Man of the Year. I mean, dude got swag, man. He had to work on the accent a little bit, get that South Central accent, but he'd be good. Question number 2. If you ran for mayor, what city would it be? Compton, The Wood, South Central, which would be LA.
Oh, LA, I got to. I mean, we got the most money, most taxpayers. And then I could actually maybe do a merger. You know, like how LA had the peace treaty for like 3 days. I'd make a peace treaty in all the cities. I'd be like, I am the mayor of California, which is the governor. Nah, I don't want the Bay Area. It's just the Southern California. Right. I will bring them all together like both.
We'll incorporate Compton and Inglewood into the city of LA. All right. Number 3.
Make it the city of LA.
Right? All right. Number 3 question. Furious 5. Your biggest life lesson learned. If you had one.
Woo! The biggest life lesson learned, I think the greatest attribute, the greatest distinguishing attribute, beyond all the simple ones that we all know, talent and focus and all that, is perseverance. Dude, the difference between the champion and the contender is that the champion got knocked down and got up one more time. We all gonna get knocked down, but get your ass up. And if you don't get up, you ain't gonna get it. Simple as that.
I love that. Perseverance, man. Can't beat that. All right. So question number 4. I heard back in the day you was dabbling on the 1s and 2s a little bit.
What you mean dabbling, boy? Some people wear their tattoos. I got one just next to me. Just to try and test my game.
All right, you ain't dabbling. That's a serious piece of equipment right there, man.
Yeah.
All right, if you're doing a party and the crowd was just, let's say somebody else was on before you and they was just whack, and you had one song to play to get that party turned. One song to play. It's your go-to song when you DJ. What song you playing?
God, you know, first of all, if anybody just answered that off the rip, they ain't the best DJ in the world, because you got to read your crowd, your demographic, your room. But, okay, I could say this. Blindly, I don't give a damn if they old, they young, where they from, they out the country. Golly, you gonna make me sound bad right now, because what I like ain't what y'all gonna dance to. The hypest song in the world to me is probably Mystical. Here I go. Ding, ding, ding. Like when I hear that, literally, I check my prison record. I don't have one. I check my jail record. I don't have one. But I think about all the times I could have committed a felony. And I was like, this song would have been the soundtrack to that moment, because that song made me want to slap myself, let alone somebody else. That's miss.
You gotta have one banger in the crates, man. One banger in the crates. I mean, I talked to another DJ on here one time. He was like, it's either gonna be This Is How We Do It, Montel Jordan,
okay,
or It Ain't No Fun. And I was like, yeah, those are both good.
Yeah. You're gonna bring out different crowds too, and it's gonna be all lit, all good.
Well, the thing with Ain't No Fun is you can play that at a church wedding, and everybody knows the lyrics, and the DJ will try to silence out the bad words and everything, but everybody's yelling it out. That's the funniest thing. All right, Marcellus. Last question before I let you go. You only can eat one of these foods for the rest of your life. Burgers or tacos?
Man, stop. You didn't even have to go with the burgers. That was just in there for filling. Tacos? Look, matter of fact, tonight I'm having tacos. It don't matter. What is this? It's not even Tuesday, whatever. It's Wednesday. Yep, I'm having Wiley Wednesdays around here. Tacos, damn it. And ketchup. I don't care. Dog, I used to eat so many tacos. That's why I didn't think I was that broke, even though I knew we were broke. Because we always kept some tacos on deck. Like, my mama just kept that ground beef. Now we do ground chicken. My wife bougie. But we kept that ground beef from Food Market on deck. A pound of it, too.
I don't care what anybody says. Poor man's food is rich man's food when it comes to the ground beef tacos. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. You get a pound of ground beef, some tortillas, a little bit of cheese, lettuce and tomato, and for you, ketchup, and then it's on.
It's on, and it's healthy enough. Depends on how you mess with the tortillas and how many, but then you just pack them in so you don't have to eat as many, and a little lighter on the ketchup. Man, you can get a six-pack off eating tacos. It's free.
That's the diet, man. Hey, Marcellus, man, I appreciate you coming out, man. I can't thank you enough just for being the person you are, man. I mean, it gives a lot of fathers, a lot of husbands, a lot of people that speak their mind, a lot of hope, man, and just to keep on going, man. And I appreciate you coming out, man.
Man, much respect to what you do, what you're doing, what you're building. Tremendous success to you, man. And like we were saying earlier, man, we all connect beyond complexion, beyond background, just on great character. And we're all energy beings, man. This is just a shell of what the energy that we all possess. And I didn't know anybody but through Instagram. And look at us now, man. Feel like I grew up with your ass. Right? So this is amazing. I appreciate you big time, bro. Keep it going.
Thanks, Marcellus. Hey, man, check out Marcellus's book. You know, it's out there. Never Shut Up. Of course it's going to be called that. And what's his show called? Speak for Yourself on Fox Sports 1. This is bonus episode number 3 with Marcellus Wiley. We appreciate it. Tune in next time. We out.
We out.